Hi, my name's Will, and I'm a technical support representative here at LuxSci. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress in your LuxSci WebHosting account. So first, you're going to want to go to LuxSci.com and then click on Login to log into your account. Then type in your username up here and then your password. Once you're logged in, hover over the Account drop-down and go to Account Administration. Then select Websites. Here you'll see I already have a website. If you don't have one, you want to add a new website, and that's on the left-hand side here, Add New Website. What you're going to want to check is actually who owns the website files. For this one, you can see the user right here, which I've just highlighted. Since I'm already logged in as that user, I can actually access the website files by hovering over Web up here, and then clicking on File Manager. Here's the LuxSci File Manager. In here you'd see a list of all the different folders you have and each folder for every single website you have. So here you can see that website I had under the Account Administration area, which is tr11986.trial9.luxsci.net. And this would be, of course, the name of your actual website. So I'm going to click on that, and then you'll see a couple of different folders in here. The one that we're going to want to be looking into is the www folder. So click on that. So then in here it should just look like this, assuming you don't have any files in that folder. So to download WordPress, just go to wordpress.org in your web browser. Then click on Download. Then download WordPress in a zip file. And I'm actually going to choose to save the file. And then once that's complete, in fact, while we're waiting for that to complete, let me open up the download location in Windows Explorer. So I'm dragging it over here. And it's going to downloads. So let's just wait for that to finish. Okay, it's all set, so I can close out of this. And let me bring Windows Explorer back. Okay, so now you have the WordPress. I have WordPress 3.5 here, but your version could be different. So I'm going to actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on the zip file and hit Extract All. And I'm just going to download it to the same name. So hit Extract, and then wait for that to finish. Okay, so now that it's extracted, let's go into the WordPress folder. And inside this folder, you're going to see another folder called WordPress. So you're going to want to enter that folder. And then you're going to want to select all of these files that are in here. And then right-click, and then hover over Send To, and do Compressed Zip Folder. And you'll see here, this created actually a folder called wp-admin. By default, it's going to name it to whatever the top folder or file is that you have selected. So I'm just going to rename this to something a little more useful. Just call it WordPress-LuxSci. And I'm going to actually cut and paste this back into just my regular downloads folder. Okay, so there's our file that we're going to use to upload to the LuxSci Web File Manager. So let me go back to that here. And then this is where we were before in the File Manager, which is under Web File Manager. And then I'm going to click on Browse here to upload a file. Go to my Downloads folder and select that zip file I just created. And hit Open. And then I'm going to make sure I check off this box here, which is unzip/uncompress files once uploaded. This will just unzip the entire folder once it's uploaded to the LuxSci website. And then click on Upload. And that will just take a moment to upload. Okay, now that that's complete, you can see all of those files that we had zipped up before are now just extracted here. And this gets us set up to go and actually view our website. My website name is actually tr11986.trial9.luxsci.net. So I'm just going to highlight this here and copy this into my web browser. So let me open up a new tab here, and let's go to this website. So you can see here, that WordPress is at the installation page, and we need to do a few more things to get this set up. So one of the first things we're going to need to do before we finish setting this up is what I'm actually going to do is make all of these files we see in here owned by the web server. This way the web server can actually perform a lot of the configuration steps more easily for us. So I'm going to click on this folder, which will be your website name, to go up one directory. Then we'll see this www folder again. So just check that off, and then go to ownership. And then here you'll see you have two different options. And we're going to select the second one, which is change ownership to the web server. And then also check off make changes recursively. And then click on assign ownership. And that should only take a second. And then you'll see right here that our files, or this folder here, is owned by the web server. To make sure that you did everything correctly, just click on the www folder again. And you should see all of the files and folders in here are owned by the web server. If they're not, just go back and then redo those steps. Okay, so what we're going to need for a WordPress site is, of course, a MySQL database. So to do that, make sure you're logged in as the account administrator or a user that has the access to actually manage a database. So since this user does, I'm going to click on Account and then Account Administration. And then click on Databases. Okay, so I don't have any databases, so let's go and add a new one. Okay, so you have a couple of options here. The database type is fine to be version 5.5.x or whatever the latest version is at the time you're creating the database, unless for some reason you're uploading an older database and you need some kind of compatibility with an older version of MySQL. So for us, since we're making a brand new website, the default will work just fine. So I'm going to type in a database name, which I'm just going to call WordPress Test DB. And then a login name, and then a password. Now we recommend that you use either the password here or an extremely complicated password just to prevent any kind of unwanted access. But I'm just going to use the password just for this test. Okay, so here you can see it gives us all the information we need to set up our database with WordPress. So I'm going to leave this open and go back to our WordPress page here, which was originally giving us this error that it can't seem to write to wp-config.php. So let's reload the page. And you'll see it still gives the error, but if we click Create Configuration File, if you actually had assigned the files in the previous step to the web server user, it should just continue and be able to create that file. If it has a problem, check to make sure that the web server user owns all of the files and the web server user has write permissions to all of the files and folders. So now it's going to tell you that you need a couple of pieces of information to start installing WordPress. We actually have all that information right here. So let's click on Let's Go. And then it's going to ask you for your database name, username, password, database host, and table prefix. For your database name, I have WordPress Test DB, so I'm going to type that in here. Then you have your username, which I have here as just WordPress, so I'm going to type that in. And then your password, which I also had as just password. And then the database host, which is mysql55.web9.luxsci.com. Depending on what server you're on, this could be different. So just make sure you copy and paste whatever you see here in the hostname area, and ignore the quotes. Okay, and then the table prefix. You really only need to pay attention to this, as it says, if you're using multiple WordPress installations in a single database. So since we don't actually care about that, I'm just going to click Submit. And then, since it says everything looks alright, let's click on Run the Install. And that's it. So since we've done everything correctly, we're pretty much all set. Then you can fill out some more information here, like a site title, what you want the main admin username to be, and their password and email address. And then click Install WordPress, which I'll actually quickly go through here just to show you how that looks. Okay, and then you can choose to check this off if you'd like. I'll just leave it as is. Alright, so click install WordPress, and you're pretty much all set. That's all there is to it to installing WordPress in your LuxSci account. I can now, of course, click login and actually log into my WordPress site, or just access my website by going to it right here. And you'll just see it's just the basic WordPress install. So you're all set and ready to go and begin with WordPress. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments on these videos, please feel free to contact us at 1-800-441-6612. Send an email to support@luxsci.com, or with any sales questions, you can call our 800 number, email sales@luxsci.com, or chat with a sales representative by using the sales chat button on our website.